Good morning. Welcome to the forecast discussion for February 15th, 2016, President's Day. And we have some snow, sleet, and freezing rain to deal with over the next several hours. And then we finally go over the rain late tonight. But beforehand, we do have some snow and ice accumulations that we're going to deal with. And that's going to lead to some treacherous driving. So use some caution if you're driving, especially in the evening rush hour as we deal with a lot of sleet and freezing rain. Currently, we have winds coming in from the northeast and the east at around 5 miles per hour, with temperatures warming up steadily through the single digits over the interior, lower to mid-teens just north and west of the cities, and along the coast we're in the upper teens to lower 20s as that warm air pushes into the coastal plain. And this is going to be a continued theme throughout the day into tonight as the warmer air and eventually above freezing temperatures pushes into the coastal plain and then eventually into the interior. On the surface map, you can see our high pressure system shifting off the coast. This is key. The fact that this high pressure system is leaving is going to support the warming of the atmosphere at all levels of the atmosphere, from the surface all the way up into the mid levels of the atmosphere. So that will gradually lead to snow mixing with sleet and freezing rain, changing over to sleet and freezing rain, and then finally to rain. How much you get will basically depend on where you live and the rate at which the atmosphere warms over the next 12 hours. So this high pressure system is exiting. This low pressure system down here and this one right here are the two low pressure systems that will converge and lift up into the eastern Great Lakes. So the precipitation that fell this morning, the light snow, is actually well out ahead of the actual storm, which is developing over the Tennessee and Mississippi River valleys and expected to lift up into the eastern Great Lakes by tomorrow morning. On the latest radar, you can see the first wave is right here. This is basically warming at 700 millibars. So you have that first warm shot pushing through. Then you get your second shot that's starting to develop here over the southern Mid-Atlantic and starting to inch into southern New Jersey. This will take much of the morning and into the early afternoon hours to actually reach the rest of the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area. But once it does, this wave of precipitation, which is basically the primary warm transport that is pushing into the region, that will bring us snow, sleet, and freezing rain, and finally rain late tonight. And then we're going to deal with another wave of heavy rain with the cold front tomorrow afternoon. So on our infrared satellite picture, you can see the higher cloud tops here starting to build. You can see the support for some lifting, but your primary lifting is associated with your low pressure system back here with all your heavier precipitation. So let's dive into this forecast. For this afternoon, again, we'll have snow developing throughout the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area. Some of the snow will be heavy at times, but accumulations are going to be limited because by this evening, we're going to see a mix of snow, sleet, and freezing rain, giving way to rain right along the coast here. We have a real icy concern here just north and west of the cities, and especially over eastern Pennsylvania, with periods of moderate to heavy snow here over northeastern Pennsylvania. By 1 a.m. tonight, a lot of that warm air will be invading the region, leading to a changeover to just rain, but still an icy concern over the interior, especially in some of your valleys. And by tomorrow morning, that rain dominates the entire northern Mid-Atlantic with temperatures above freezing. Temperatures basically steadily rise from the teens and 20s into the 30s, from the 30s into the 40s by tomorrow morning, and into the mid-50s by tomorrow afternoon as that low pressure system moves through the region. The cold front associated with this low pressure system will support very heavy rainfall tomorrow afternoon and evening, ranging from 1 to 2 inches of rain. And then on Wednesday, with scattered clouds and a few rain and snow showers possible, although mostly isolated, we'll be dealing with a little bit cooler temperatures with lows in the mid-30s and highs in the mid-40s. As far as the overall impacts from this storm, basically a trace of ice and up to an inch of snow is possible right along the immediate coast, especially over southern New Jersey and over eastern Long Island. 1 to 2 inches are possible in Philadelphia to New York City, over western Long Island, and up through portions of southwestern Connecticut. Then as you move north and west of the cities, this is where our ice concern really starts to pick up, with up to 1/10 of an inch of ice and 1 to 2 inches of snow. And then well north and west, we're talking about 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch of ice, especially over northwest New Jersey and right along the Delaware River Gap here. This really is a concern up here, up through the Hudson River Valley, and central Connecticut, and then the real significant concern over much of the rest of eastern Pennsylvania and over central portions of the Hudson River Valley. 3 to 6 inches of snow is expected, with a quarter to as much as a half an inch of ice. Now, this isn't widespread half an inch, but in some of those patches where you get some heavy downpours of freezing rain, that is certainly a possibility based on some of the guidance I've been seeing. So this is the worst case scenario, which hopefully doesn't happen all that much. And this is a quarter of an inch is more likely going to be more of a widespread scenario for Hershey, Lancaster, York, all the way up to Scranton. It's going to be a rather nasty evening with this freezing rain. And then we change over to rain. By tomorrow morning, everyone is rain. But even with that changeover to rain, watch out for some untreated roadways, especially the back roadways, for some very slick weather conditions. Thereafter, high pressure pretty much takes control, and we actually end up in a rather nice weather patterns heading towards the end of the week. For Thursday, look for temperatures to range from the mid to upper 20s for lows and upper 30s for highs. A few lower 40s are mixed in there as well. On Friday, high pressure is right over the region with clear skies. Look for lows in the upper teens to lower 20s, highs in the upper 30s to lower 40s. On Saturday, an area of low pressure will pass to the north of the region with a warm front followed by a cold front. Look for scattered showers, lows in the lower to mid 30s, highs in the lower to mid 50s. And then on Sunday, with high pressure in complete control, look for clear skies to scattered cloud cover, lows in the mid to upper 30s, highs in the lower to mid 50s. That's your forecast discussion for today. Thank you for following NY and JPA weather, and as always, stay safe out there.